I know this is like the first post that I put up in quite a long time, and ultimately it's just like a lot of personal things kind of happened between the last video and now. As in, I've got a new job, had to move, you know, just like life stuff generally. But now I'm back out here with the CRX. The plan is to try to autocross it tomorrow. So there's a couple things that really need to be buttoned up on the car before I can even attempt to do that. The most egregious one of all is over here. Let me show you. So when I originally put this car together, I wanted to relocate the battery, but I wanted to do it in a way that made it so that, it was mostly hidden away. So I've got kind of these like ghetto ratchet straps that are holding it in, plus like a box that's wedged into place. And even the like bracket doesn't really fit right. So like this sort of thing isn't going to fly for autocross, so I won't pass tech at all. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole on both sides and try to bolt it into the chassis with like a piece of plate steel across here. The CRX that I referenced for a lot of this swap on their blog, they did exactly the same thing. They just like bolted it in with a plate. So ultimately, I think that's what I'm going to do. And hopefully, by doing that, I will pass tech. Okay. So originally, I think I showed you guys that there was kind of ratchet straps in a box holding this in, whereas now the way that I have it set up, the actual bolts here go all the way through. They come from like the bottom up, coming all the way from underneath the car, and then there's another nut at the very bottom here that actually is like holding the bolt in place. I have that all the way around. And then I just did these like stocks of steel across the top here and bolted those in. So this thing is like bolted in, actually fits to spec, and it's not a problem. I will say that I thought that this was something that I could do easily, but given the location of where the sending unit specifically is, which is basically like right underneath here is where the fuel sending unit is, and then the gas tank is like immediately underneath the like steel unibody frame here. I went ahead and pulled the gas tank in order to get them in, because there's like so many safety issues inherently with trying to drill through the floor and not hit the gas tank, as well as also the concern of trying to like weld studs in when there's a gas tank immediately underneath it. And I do think that like the two plates is like maybe overkill, but it looks really good. It's fastened in place. So if you're going to end up doing it yourself, just be aware that you're probably going to have to pull a gas tank for it. So one other thing that I wanted to mention also, as far as like just doing autocross in general, is that you do have to have a helmet, and the requirements vary kind of depending on where you're actually doing the autocross in the first place. So it has to be Snell rated in most cases, especially if you're doing any of the like regional or like national stuff. Where I went to do my event, they let a lot of the people get away with just DOT approved helmets, but I wanted to make sure that if I was going to do this more than one time, that I had one that was at least Snell M rated. So I went ahead and bought a helmet. The helmet that I bought is right here. It's a Shoei. You don't want any sort of like head compression whenever you're wearing it. But you definitely want it to be snug, because it becomes less snug over time. So this one is a large, fits really good on my head. As you can see on the back here, it says that it's Snell approved, is DOT, and then on the inside of the helmet, inside of this sort of like patchwork here, you can see that there's actually a sticker. So now that I had a legal helmet, as well as a properly secured battery, we threw the car on a trailer, and the next morning headed down to Pikes Peak International Raceway. I didn't film any of the drive headed out there because it was pretty early, and we had to try to get there on time and kind of get things moving. For autocross, normally people picture it being in just like a parking lot with cones, and in this particular case, because it was at PPIR, it was a little bit more than that. I'll show the map right now of kind of what the overhead layout of PPIR looks like. Unfortunately, when I got there, because I've never done any of this autocross stuff before, I had no clue what I was doing. I knew I had to put numbers on the side of the car, just because, in case you don't know, there's a number of different classes for autocross, In my particular case, I have a engine swapped front wheel drive car, so it falls into the SMF category, or street modified front wheel drive. As long as there's full interior from the seats forward, even at the national level, it falls under SMF. Once you start getting funny with like taking stuff out of the dash, specifically heater core, stuff like that, then you can end up in the prepared class, which is one higher than that. I went ahead and walked out to the grid area, tried to talk to a few people to figure out kind of where I was supposed to go, and they pointed me in the direction of the registration trailer. When I went over to the registration trailer, they told me, like, you're in the first heat, your work is the second heat, and we recommend that you walk the course because you're going to end up having to race here in about 30 minutes. Walking the track was a pretty cool experience because there was a novice group in front of me with this, like, Bulgarian guy that had a lot of experience, basically had an SCCA jacket on, and he just walked all of us through, like, how to take all the corners, what all of the cones meant. It was just like a really nice refresher course. I was able to ask whatever questions I wanted to, and honestly, it was a great initial experience before racing. And given that I was going in the first heat, like, it was really valuable to me to be able to actually have somebody point out, like, yeah, you should really slow down here when going around some of the, like, more technical parts of the course, given that I had never done it before and I was going to be one of the first people to go. As you can see here, you know, we're driving up to start on my first run, and with my first run, I was really hoping to not have the goal of going fast, but having the goal of not going off course, and unfortunately, I could not manage that goal. So for a first run, I sort of have conflicting feelings about this one. I did go off of the course, but I didn't go off of the track, so I skipped a subsection at the very beginning of the course, so this ended up being a DNF. I also think that, like, my use of gas in the car was really poor, and I didn't really know what gears to stay in because I was just more focused on trying to actually stay in between the cones and figure out what the overall layout was. I didn't do anything stupid, like fly off of the track itself into the grass or knock over any cones or, you know, try to push the car farther than I felt like I could. All in all, you know, several more heats to go, and the goal is to just, like, improve from here.
Did you know where you DNF last time?
No, where?
You don't go straight here, you have to go out to the left.
So you...
There's little, so you go through here, you turn to the left down the infield, and then back onto the main gate.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Okay?
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah. Thank you. for that particular run, I didn't go off course, so I did actually get a recorded time. However, I had suffered from a lot of the same problems as my previous runs, including in the outfield, like the faster part of the course in the very beginning. I had this issue where I wasn't really sure how far I needed to go as far as gears go. And I just always have this like mental idea in my head when watching other people's autocross videos of realistically you spend a lot of time in second gear. And I think with this car having a 6-speed transmission, especially on a track like this, which isn't really like a typical autocross course, I just need to be more cognizant about trying to be in third and fourth gear in the higher part of the track, and then in the technical part of the track being more in second and third. And you saw that in this initial part of this video, I definitely was off the gas for a lot of the like transition from the outer to the inner, and then in the final shoot at the end I just had a lot of trepidation coming around that corner because I don't have the confidence that the car can hold the turn, even though the car's not really giving me any sort of input that it can't. It's just that at this point in time I was not comfortable trying to really push anything, and I think that it really shows. I do think that there was some gradual improvement in this run. However, instead of analyzing it myself, I think that I'll include some audio that was taken of my dad and my brother coming over after watching on the sidelines and giving me their take on what I was doing wrong and what I was doing right.
Turn it off, huh? He's not.
I'm at 190 right now.
Because I think I need to put another gear up at the top.
Yeah, because I hit like 8,000 RPMs and I was like, I probably could be going a lot faster through here.
Yeah.
So I think I need to shift it from third to fourth.
We have no idea how many times. That's what I said. You got to change gears.
Yeah, no, I got to get to fourth gear up there.
And you got to know how to downshift and let the clutch do the turn, slow you down, not the brake.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this is all things that I need to like learn.
Yeah.
But it's hard to learn it when you're like trying to just not crash the car.
You let off the gas, it's going to drop RPM pretty quick. Drop it into a lower gear, it's going to drop it fast. Then you got the power to take off once you hit around there.
No, I'm feeling all of that while I'm driving, and I'm like, okay, I need to make a change here, I need to make a change here.
For this run, no significant time improvement. However, I was much faster in the outer bank. And as you could see, as I came around out of the outer bank into the inner, I wasn't really too sure what to do. And I think that's the reason I didn't have a significant change in time. That last run was a 63-second run. The first run that I did that was recorded was a 73-second run, so a lot of improvement. That being said, I still ended up getting last in my class, and honestly, I'm not even upset about it. I'm more so just proud of myself for being able to put this car together, build it, get it tuned, get it in a place where I could actually go and, see the final goal of going to an autocross event. And I had a blast. All the people there were really nice. There were some people that were had been doing it for years and years, and then there was people that came out there with their daughters and sons and were taking turns driving their family sedan, and it was a great environment to learn how to race and learn how to drive your car. You don't need to have some crazy project car like I have to be able to go out there and have fun. And I think that I would encourage anybody to go give it a shot if you've got a car you want to drive, whether it's your daily driver or not. And for me personally, I intend to do these events whenever I can in between work or whatever it may be. And I'll try to continue to put out videos of me racing. For those of you who are willing and able to stay till the end of this video and kind of check out what I was doing, I really appreciate it. And I hope that in the future, you'll look forward to tuning in whenever I'm able to actually throw these videos together.